Hey guys, welcome to another video with Matt. Today I'm going to show you how I made this cool spearman. So stick around and I'm going to show you how. Guys, welcome to another scrap metal art video with Matt. Today I'm going to try to make a cool motion owl out of this old freon tank and a couple of little scrap pieces, as you can see right here. So got a couple of round pieces that I'm fooling with to make some eyes out of, and I've got this rebar right here that I always like to use for like legs, and then I got this long drill bit that I'll use for like, say, like the toes maybe and stuff like that. Also found this in my scrap pile right here, guys, so I can probably cut this right down the middle right here and make that like 2 ears on top. Alright, so before I started cutting on the tank, I just decided to go ahead and cut out my legs. Like you can see right here, got the long stem part of the toes, and then I cut out the other little parts of the toes right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this right down the circle line right there, because I don't want that hole in my piece. So I'm going to cut it probably here and right there to get rid of that middle piece. I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half, then I'll cut the tank in half. Alright guys, so a little safety first here real quick is anytime you're going to work on any type of freon tank or propane tank like that, you always want to make sure that it's empty before you start cutting or grinding on any of these tanks to prevent any accidents, guys. And if it's empty, doesn't feel like it has anything in it, and you're sure that it's empty and you use the proper technique to check it with the gauges and stuff, then you can knock out the knockout holes that's in the top. Usually they're all on the top, like you can see these holes here. You just take your screwdriver and hammer, knock that out. You can open that valve right there, and then I also suggest to water it down with a hose pipe. Alright, so I got that little bottom handle part cut off now. I can just kind of grind it down smooth, plus I need to expose some bare metal right there anyway. So now I'm going to switch over to my grinding wheel. That way I can grind this up to have some bare metal to work with, and we'll get started welding up our stuff on our piece. Alright, so now this is what I've got going on so far, guys. I'm now going to put some arms on the sides over here, so bear with me. I'm going to weld some arms on real quick. Alright, so now I'm going to weld another piece of bar over the top of the arms right here, guys, and I'm going to weld it just a little past on both sides right there, and then I'll cut it off eventually. It's a little long piece, but go ahead and weld that up there, and that's going to be like an arrow. Alright, so next I am going to take these old nails I had laying around, and I'm going to weld these on to the tops over here to be like little fingers, and I might have to just shape them with a hammer or something to make them kind of curl around the arrow and stuff. And then we'll also go back and put us some pieces here to make the back end look more like an arrow. To get a little closer is those nails that I welded on right there for fingers, and then hammered them over with the hammer to kind of look like, you know, somebody was holding the arrow, and over here too. So now what I'm going to do is take some nails, and I'm going to weld like 3 going this way and 3 going this way, and it'll look like my little dude is holding an arrow. So that's what I'm going to jump on next. Alright, so that is how the like little featherings turned out with the nails right there. So you can start to see, like I said, that he's holding an arrow. So now I'm thinking that I don't like the little arrow tip I did. I mean, that's like a normal like target shooting arrow. Like I want this to look like a warrior guy, like he's ready for battle type of stuff. So I might cut out like a little spear shaped arrowhead at the front and weld that on next. So let me go ahead and jump on making that now. Alright, so I had some stock metal laying around that was already kind of shaped for me in a way you could say, but what I'm going to do, guys, is I drew out this is my center line for the arrow to be attached, and I'm going to cut it here and cut it here and leave this on, and I'll trim that off, and then I'm going to round the point right here because I don't want like some little kid to run into that right there. So yeah, we're going to round it there, and then when I cut it here and here, we'll round these edges too. So I'm going to real quickly get this cut out. Just wanted to show y'all how you can just draw something on metal if you need it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out real quick, and we'll get it put on to our arrow. Alright, so that is how that turned out when I cut it out, and then I threw like some little ribs on it like there, kind of like an arrowhead would have like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and weld this on to the tip right there, so give it more of like he's holding like a warrior spear look. Alright guys, so now that we have our main body welded up all together, now I'm going to focus more on the face right here. So I wanted to give it some sharp teeth, make it look like a little marshmallow monster looking thing, I guess. And what I'm going to do easily is I just took a Sharpie and drew out these teeth right here right on the gum lines, and I'm just going to take my cutoff wheel and cut these teeth out. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on that now. Alright, so there we go. I cut out the teeth that I drew on there, guys. That gives them a little aggressive look to them. So now I'm probably going to add some stuff in the eyeball region right there, just separate it because I wanted them to look like he had glasses and stuff. So I'm going to find something to weld in place of that. Alright guys, so now you can see I got the eyes drilled out right there. So I got some LED lights that I'm going to lace inside of there, and I'm going to show you what that's going to look like a little later. Whenever it gets a little darker out, I'll include it right after this part right here. Alright guys, so I hope you like that design right there. Stick with me here as I configure how I want to paint this thing up. I know I want to make them look like, you know, like wild, like jungle type of guys. So stick with it. Look for that video coming out whenever we decide to paint this thing, guys. I got some other projects I'm working on right now, so be sure to check out all the other videos on the channel, guys. Hit that like button down below for me. It really helps, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week. Peace.